Hi, in the latest version of Anatella, you can use new scheduling options, where you can schedule a data flow in a few clicks. In this video, I will show you how to prepare your environment to make use of this scheduling option. To make use of the new features of Anatella, we need to install Jenkins as our scheduling software. To do this, you definitely need to be a local system administrator, and I assume you have Anatella installed on your machine. Besides that, of course, you need Jenkins as a software and the right Java runtime environment to work with Jenkins. First, we need to download all the files we need. The files have been, for your convenience, prepared on the timi.eu/downloads website. You can go there either with your browser or go to Anatella, Automation and Configure Jenkins. And there you'll find a hyperlink to the install files. Download these files to your machine and then we can continue. Our first step is to install the Java runtime environment. We prefer the Oracle Java runtime environment because it has less issues. Installing it is quite simple. You open up the installer and you go through the install flow. Next, we need to install Jenkins. Again, just open the installer and then we will be prompted to enter our username and password. Remember, here we need to have a user with local system administrative rights. One special thing about this user is it needs to be able to log on as a service. A typical user can't do this, so we need to configure this. Let me show you how. First, we need to go to the administrative tools. What I do is typically just go to the start button and start typing administrative tools. There we go to local policies and select user right assignment. In the list on the right side, look for log on as a service and double click. Now you get a pop-up window where you can enter a username. Enter your username here and press OK. Now we can go back to the Jenkins installation. First time you want to log in Jenkins during installation, you need to copy some local authentication token. So basically you just copy paste the path with the file that is in the installation window, you open up a notepad or something else, you copy the string and you paste it back in the administrator password. Then I choose to install the suggested plugins. We can always install later on the plugins we want. When the plugins are installed, you will be prompted to create your first admin user. Okay, now we can close up the installation of Jenkins. So now let's go back to Anatella and create a very simple flow to demonstrate the scheduling. I create a very simple flow that creates, every time it's run, a file with file name, a fixed part and one part that's dynamic with the current timestamp of running. Very simple but very effective to demonstrate automation and scheduling. When we finish creating the flow, we go to the automation menu to schedule this flow with Jenkins. So before we can schedule our flow the first time, we need to configure it in Anatella and we need to give the username and password of the administrator we created earlier in Jenkins. Enter the Jenkins login and the Jenkins password there. And of course, if needed, if you installed Jenkins on a different URL or a different port, also change the URL of Jenkins. Now we can go back to the automation menu and select Schedule this flow for recurrent execution. Here we will schedule this flow. The first step is to select a schedule name. This name will be visible in the Jenkins scheduler, so if you want to track and trace your processes, the second step is selecting when you want to run the flow. The menu is quite simple. You select either daily, monthly, weekly, and which day you want to run it or which hour you want to run it, and you go on. The third step is to define the global parameters you want to use when running this flow. So if you added global parameters in your flow and you need to specify them before running your flow, here you need to enter these. So, and then we get a summary of what we selected, and when we hit create, our flow has been scheduled. So we scheduled our flow with Anatella. I let the PC run for a while, and we get something like this when we open the report directory. So as we see, our Anatella flow has been running every minute just the way we wanted it to. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you successfully installed Jenkins together with Anatella and enjoy this new scheduling option as much as I do. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more tips and tricks, please subscribe. Ciao!